Whoa, we're back for some Bleach Soul Resonance, and I do want to do a little bit of a wrap up on Kenpachi's banner now that we do have the Boundary Ascension 1 from the free-to-play tickets that we were handed on the 17th, and get into a little bit of content that is, you know, sort of notable for people. The weekly stuff is not going to be the most important thing in the world, but it is sort of a thing that is coming consistently that we can get into and, you know, test Kenpachi against without like having to really rack our brain. You know, people want high scores, people want to land on leaderboards, so I figured we'll get into that. As far as Frenzy Feast goes, we are still holding our position at 94, though of course that'll probably, you know, falter by the time this video comes out, right? We as people get more time, as you know, whales and the like get more time to play, we sort of go down and down and down. But it is cool that in Bleach Soul Resonance, even as a free-to-play player, you can sort of hit these benchmarks and, you know, appear on these lines. So yeah, let's just get a quick overview of Kenpachi. So his B1 is going to increase the amount of damage dealt by his special attacks, so we're probably going to see his damage done on special attacks go way up on average. And we can move on to his stams, which are haven't really changed in the last 2 weeks, right? So slash damage here, a little bit of ailment damage, 38% is not so bad. Crit rate here, and this HP is completely useless. If I did rerun, or did rather, you know, continue to farm Kenpachi sets, I would really try to get this HP stat to be something like crit damage, maybe ult recharge, maybe flat attack, just anything else. This second piece is the one we crafted in like on video. Extremely good piece. Crit damage 2, attack 2, crit rate 2, and a little bit of ailment damage here as well. And then attack percent here, ult charge, crit damage, crit rate, and a little bit more attack there is also an incredibly good piece that leaves us at 67.7%, goes up to 87% when we've got our passive up, so our core stamp passive up, so quite a bit of increase. 103% here, and a little bit of ailment damage there at 67%. Because it is at 67%, we do not get the opportunity to use the gain ailment damage bonus. We would need 13% more. Is there any way I could reasonably get that? I guess I could have gotten it on this third piece. If I get even a little bit of ailment damage here, I could technically run the ailment damage like bond, but for now, I suppose it's just one of those things where it's not really reasonable to aspire to, right? I think it's more of a thing to aspire to if you do have this boundary 2, right? I think that's the best one for the boundary 2. So that is Kenpachi. We'll get into the actual run now, and we'll see how he does. So again, we're just gonna be using the Komamura. What is it called? Weekly challenge. I don't know what it would be called, but I think it'll be the best. And here we are getting back into the fight itself. And I remember making a fair bit of a few mistakes here. I mean, this fight isn't one of those that is without its like clunkiness, I feel like. As far as these like boss fights go, I think this one and what is his name? I mean, I know it's Mayuri's name, but whatever the big baby is also a bit clunky. So early on, we do happen into a few mistakes trying to get our rotations out without sort of respecting the boss, really, is all it comes down to. So yeah, right, there's a big one there. But as you can see, as we go into this final hit, boom, we've already got spiritual pressure up, and we can just go straight into it. So huge amounts of damage coming out. And one of the things it contributes to, and I think it's one of the things that's like sort of important for Kenpachi, is I feel like with this added fluidity on it, and he like slid, it must have been from his Bankai, from the actual like Kokujo. He slid forward and thus didn't hit me with his parryable attack. I don't know if you saw that. It's so odd, but we're getting a pretty good rotation in. I don't believe we get him broken for the, you know, spiritually broken for the maximized damage here, but we do get an oh yeah, here we go. We do get an easy confirm right into the ultimate, and we have spiritual burst up when this is over. So 1.8 million there goes up to 2.1 million, and we are bashing away, and boom, we go straight into the ult. Let's see that big damage. Ooh, 5.9 million, and right into the spiritual burst. This is what I mean when I say that the added spiritual contents is so strong because it just feels like it's constantly up. 4.8 million there with Aizen, and we are just blasting away, getting our rotations in. The rotations are becoming steadier. See, we switch out easy, and we are holding enough to go back into Kenpachi here. I assume that's what we do. No. Yeah, there we go. Spiritual Burst is up again. So as I said before, and we get our rotation there. As I said before, you can see like the actual amount that we're just going right back into Spiritual Burst. Here's another duo. He's disappeared. Hey dog, where'd you go? Look at him back there. We get the nice dodge here, and we get the stickiness of the dodge, sadly. So we get a few attacks that we don't want, and boom, we go right back into the burst filling attack, and wow, there it is again. Off of one of them, we're right back in. Like I said, this is as good as this can go, and you can just tell that the rotations are flowing. I mean, before we even get a chance to break him a second time, we have ult again. So that should tell you how much the bonus in spiritual pressure just adds up over time. I believe, what was it? I can't remember if it was in the earlier review or if it was, you know, just after this fight, but I believe I said that the spiritual bonus, while it might not seem immediately obvious, feels like you're doing 1.5 less rotations to get spiritual burst up. And while it might just be like, oh, you know, what does that really mean in totality? It does feel really, really good. It feels extremely good. So we don't crit there with Aizen, but we still do go up to 2.5 million, which is, you know, plenty damage there. Blasting away. 631,000 there. Again, quite a bit lighter than we're used to with Aizen. We must have missed our crits here, but right back in it, and we are cutting this man up. I assume we're gonna get Yudahara back in soon, right? Like, yeah, we gotta get our boys buffs up. There we go, another spiritual burst, and he's about to break again. So it is just non-stop. Like I said, the actual amount that we are able to squeeze out of our damage. Do we go straight into ult here? Yeah, we're going straight into ult here. So the actual amount that you're able to squeeze out when the rotations just become this much smoother, it's noticeable. It looks like he can't be broken because he is low enough that it looks like meters no longer going down. So we're just taking raw damage here, getting our stacks up, going into Kenpachi, cut, and yeah, it is. Yeah, there it is again, man. It's already up. Like, it is just immediate. It is so free, and you know, I struggle to think of a world where I'm waiting around. It's why, again, Aizen's is also really powerful. You know, people kind of don't know what Aizen's does. They think that, like, well, how good could it really be? It really makes these rotations sing. You see, he's actually got the damage reduction here, so he's taking way less damage, by the way. That's, if you're wondering why did he just do 100,000, it's because he's got the you know, 20 seconds left ish damage reduction. So yeah, I mean, even through it though, he just did like 1.4 million, which is pretty impressive. So yeah, here's the last little gasps of our damage, and I would say that if you want Kenpachi at B1, this is what you could expect. I really like my Kenpachi stats. I wouldn't really change them for anything. So if you're not impressed with this run, then the B1 isn't for you. So, well, let's get us into some stats. And yeah. And I mean, yeah, there you have it, right? It's the that's the B1 Kenpachi run. This will be coming out the day before Nelel's banner goes live, and that means that the Kenpachi banner should still be up. So if you're looking to grab another copy of Kenpachi, this is a B1 Kenpachi. This is what it would look like in something like, you know, these challenge runs, boss runs. And I know getting the points for this weekly is nice. It's a nice little, you know, playground to get big numbers. I think my total damage like cap for this event was like 90 million, around 80 million, something like that. So an extra 10 million total damage. Kenpachi hitting for 12 million with Kendo, 11.9 million. So essentially equal on his Blade of Lament. And you can see just how many more spiritual pressure bursts we actually get out of his rotation now that we have that bonus spiritual, you know, pressure buildup. So yeah, very powerful, very strong very strong dupe. I mean, it shows its power pretty immediately, and we're able to see that. I mean, as far as Kenpachi goes, B1 and B2 are just so value. So yeah, we'll get into a sort of debrief after that. And that'll be it. As far as Kenpachi goes, I think that is just the upper shell of what you can really accomplish as free to play. Of course, if you wanted to go super duper ham on Kenpachi, and this will be something I do eventually, I would look into getting, you know, upgrading his core stamp, you know, if you want like dupes of that. If you want to really have a Kenpachi that's like has, you know, 1 billion stats, and he's got, you know, what is it? He's got, you know, a big power level. Remember that power is ultimately going to come down to how many dupes you have a lot of the time. So 44,000 here, but guess what? We have 2 dupes here, and more importantly, we have Ascension level 5 core stamp. So if you want Kenpachi to have a big old power, you know, huge, unstoppable looking, you know, number right here, if that's what you care about, do remember that you could just increase this core stamp. It's there. You can, you know, we're getting a lot of core stamps these days, so remember to pick those up. But beyond that, like, that's the product that you're gonna get when you pick Kenpachi. That's the product you're to get. Obviously, you could go weapon stamp. I could literally grab his weapon stamp again right there if I really wanted to, but we're saving for now, dude. We're over it. We're going Nell, who seems to just be a way too good to miss character. So we've got our stamps here, or we've got our, you know, free to play ticket boost there and everything. So yeah, Kenpachi, you've served us well. You've been very incredible. Couldn't have asked for a better release. Obviously, he had that hiccup on launch, but certainly not something we're worrying about these days, right? So yeah, like if you liked the video, subscribe to the club. We all go make it, and peace.